D4DJ All Mix is the second season of D4DJ. There was also the Petite Mix season, and there was also the Double Mix special episode, but I had so little to say about them that I completely skipped them. So we're jumping right to All Mix, which is such a massive step backward for the series, to be honest, because it basically does everything I complimented like season 1 for. It just doesn't do any of that. But before we get too far into the minutia of what is specifically wrong with it, one thing I have to call out with All Mix is that it has improved the 3D animation from season 1, and I would probably say that this is, at this point, without question, the best looking 3D anime I have ever seen. This anime looks better as a 3D animated show than most anime look as a 2D animated show. It looks absolutely fantastic. And I know a lot of studios have trouble with 3D animation, so all I'm going to say is maybe some of them should consider outsourcing to Sanzigen because they did such a fucking fantastic job in this. Anyway, Season 2 is basically about a group called Lyrical Lily, which is a different group than the first group from Season 1, who go to a Catholic school, and they want to sort of increase tourism in the town in which the original Happy Around group, but also all other groups that we talk about, except for maybe Mermaid, I'm not clear where Mermaid live, also live. And so basically the idea is that it's a collaboration between, I want to say like 4 or 5 or 6 groups, I don't know, I could probably count, but I don't care enough, to basically perform a different show every month for the rest of the year to sort of drum up more tourism and bring people into the town, which they help get the word out by talking to a sort of solo DJ who is also an online internet personality streamer. And apparently there was the D4 Fest. I don't know if the D4 Fest was the ending of season 1 because I don't remember I think it wasn't, right? Maybe it was the ending of season 1. But yeah, they skipped by a lot of stuff. And so apparently a lot of characters were supposed to have been introduced during that we just never got to see. I think we get like a few images of them in season 1, but this is the season that focuses, and I use that term very lightly, on them. Technically, Rondo and Mermaid were introduced in Double Mix, but they didn't really get into the depths of them either. There's just like minor parts about how they founded, and that is probably the big thing about All Mix and what is so wrong with it, is that Season 1 and First Mix focused entirely on Happy Around, and through Happy Around and watching them get started, we got to see their perspectives on Photon Maiden and Piki Piki, and we got to learn about those other 2 groups. So through learning about our main cast and seeing them come together, we also found out who their rivals were, and then we were capable of developing their rivals in a satisfactory way. If you recall in my season 1 review, which probably was uploaded 2 days ago, that I very much praised First Mix's ability to manage its cast of characters and how competent it was at establishing them in their relationship. With All Mix, they decided to drop so many new characters on you simultaneously that they do not have the time to properly develop them. So it focuses on all of the groups, except for it barely focuses on Happy Around and Piki Piki. I think probably because they got more focus in season 1. But if anything, I think that was a mistake because the issue with that is that you don't carry over the goodwill that people would have established during season 1. So if you're a fan of just the show, which I understand there's also a game, but if you're a fan of just the show, you've basically abandoned your primary cast for season 1 for this new cast that you barely spend any appreciable time on. Because every group basically gets 1 or 2 episodes dedicated to themselves, and the Happy Around episode was basically a joke episode. And because we only get like 2 episodes per group, there is no real time to establish them. If there is a main character group set, it would probably be Lyrical Lily because they're the one that kicks off the start of the plot. And they're the ones with the most episodes dedicated to them. I think they have 3 or 4 episodes dedicated to Lyrical Lily. The problem is, Lyrical Lily is easily the most forgettable group. I literally cannot remember their name. I know they go to Catholic school. I cannot remember their names. I cannot remember a single defining personality trait. They are just nothing. They are just fucking there. I have no data on them in my head. And I watched this entire season. They are just a group of Catholic school students who occasionally sing religious hymns. Even the episodes where they team up with Photon Maiden was more of a focus on Photon Maiden. But I will say that Photon Maiden gets some good focus, which is good, but we also got 4 focus on them. So if anyone comes out of this season looking good, it's Photon Maiden, if only because they were the only group that got focused on across both seasons. And there's some interesting personality traits, I would say, probably in Rondo and Mermaid, which were also in Double Mix, which is why I think they probably got their own special. But the fact that we don't focus on them specifically throughout the entire season means you don't really end up getting as attached to them as you would have said Happy Around. Now, I will say that there were 2 good episodes in this, and weirdly enough, they were both centered around characters speaking English. It was the episode with, oh God, I don't remember what fucking group she was from. Was she from Mermaid? I think she was from Mermaid. She might have been from Lyrical Lily. I'm looking at the poster right now, and she looks like she's in mermaid clothes, so I'm going to say a mermaid girl. Who was she was in Mermaid. Yeah, because the orange-haired girl went to America. So yeah, it was a mermaid member. So I literally don't remember anything about Lyrical Lily. Anyway, mermaid girl teaming up with this fucking music producer from America called Laura, and they cannot fucking speak each other's languages. So that was the whole episode. It was actually kind of funny as she tried to desperately learn English. And then there was another episode where Maho from Happy Around hits her head on some fucking stairs while falling down the stairs, and then she can only speak English for pretty much the entirety of the episode, and that one was just kind of funny. And I also learned, funny enough, that Maho was the Japanese and English voice actress for season 1's English dub. It was the same actress for both, so that's actually pretty cool. And also, speaking of, in the previous English episode, which was the one right before it, actually, the mermaid one I just mentioned with the American girl Laura, she was voiced by a Japanese-Australian actress. And so this is one of the only examples I can think of in Japanese anime where they have multiple episodes dedicated to English speaking, and everyone can just speak English totally fine, totally coherently. Is it the best English you've ever heard? No. But at very least, you can fucking understand them completely, and you'd only have like minor nit. Like you could have a conversation with these people speaking English, and I'm very impressed in that. Anyway, the clear issue with All Mix was that it decided to focus on too much, it got too greedy, and there wasn't any real focus on anything. Also, since the plot is just about we need to put on concerts, there aren't any times to engage in any deep and meaningful plot lines. There's one subplot where Rondo, who only performs in like an adults-only club, wants to open up their club to younger members and wants to open up their club to not be members only. And so they have a vote for that, and they vote to open it up and remove the age restriction. And I'm like, there is no fucking way anyone would ever get this. Like, realistically, in the real world, they would clearly vote to keep the age restriction and make it only members only if you were a voting member of this club. The explanation they give is that Rondo attracts a younger audience, and I'm like, fucking, that's stupid. But the actual worst one was when Photon Maiden, which is a fucking industry group, manages to convince their managers to allow them to go completely off the wall, break their branding, and get super cutesy, even though their branding is all about being like cool and collected. It's real fucking dumb. It's real fucking dumb. And also, not even just how bad of a business decision both of those things were, but also the fact that like breaking the branding of those characters actually, I think, results in probably some of their weaker songs. If the big thing about this is it's a season dedicated to the characters breaking their branding, and I'm not a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of the hyperfocus. I think if you were trying to showcase another group and you didn't want to focus on Happy Around, I think the way to do it would be to do what you did in season 1, pick one of the groups that seems main character-y, and then focus on the main character-y group so that you can explore the other 2 groups. And then that way in season 2, that gets you all of the groups explored. So if you want to go into season 3 and introduce the 2 new groups that they hinted at the end of this season, you could do that, or you could have a season where all of the characters are established. And that would be so much better than trying to focus on everyone simultaneously. As for which group I think they would choose, it would be Lyrical Lily, even though Lyrical Lily is easily the most boring. And I would definitely recommend maybe Mermaid, or if they want to change the vibe, I would have done Rondo, Because I think Rondo has a completely different, more mature adult woman vibe, but I think Mermaid is probably the better group to center a show around. Anyway, doesn't matter, not what they did. They overstretched themselves, and this entire season just became boring, meaningless, and fucking scattershot is a term I've seen thrown around. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic. You're Envoy of Hope. Bye-bye.